Initially, the Democratic Party wanted to censure Representative Ilhan Omar over statements that she had made in regard to the right-wing government of Israel. Now again, her statements were specifically about Benjamin Netanyahu and his policies, which she finds to be problematic. And I'll give you an example of the latest statement that she made that has gotten her in trouble. Take a look.
Talk about the political influence in this country that says it is okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country.
So that started a firestorm within the Democratic Party. A number of Democrats, including staffers for Nancy Pelosi, were drafting a censure for Representative
Yeah, no,
Omar.
let me clarify.
Okay.
Censure is an extra layer here. It was a resolution to condemn first her, then they got pushback. So they're like, okay, just anti-Semitism in general, and now it is morphed, and we'll give you more details on how it morphed. But there's a twist also in Steve King should have been censured for his comments on how he doesn't see anything wrong with white supremacy, which is a whole different level. That's a nuclear level, right? And it turns out the Democrats stopped the censure. Clyburn said they had enough votes, they chose not to censure Steve King because they think that's extreme. I don't think that's extreme at all in his context. In this context, though, the first thing they were gonna do was just a resolution.
Okay, so what is the update to this resolution? Well, it turns out that the resolution would be updated to include a nod to anti-Muslim bias. So this isn't only about anti-Semitism, and they are not planning, and this is of course based on a draft of the resolution. They are not planning on including Representative Omar's name in the resolution. It's just a resolution condemning anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim bias. House Majority Whip James Clyburn told reporters that the resolution should emphasize an anti-hate message. What does this mean? Right? What does this mean? Like, what are we doing? Are we playing games right now?
Yeah, they're definitely playing games.
This is ridiculous. Okay, so you're gonna waste resources, time and resources to put out a resolution and like vote on it. Are they gonna vote on a resolution?
Yeah, they're gonna vote.
Yeah, condemning anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Why do we need a resolution for that?
If you're not trying to intimidate Ilhan Omar, why are you doing a random resolution against anti-Semitism? Yeah, we all agree, of course. Who would not agree with being against anti-Semitism or Islamophobia? I know Republicans wouldn't, but all Democrats would. Even the most conservative Democrats would. The most progressive Democrats would. Everybody agrees. So what are you doing here? What you're doing is trying to intimidate Omar, okay?
Exactly.
But here's what happened behind the scenes, which is interesting. This is based on the reporting. I don't know anything more than the reporting does. Other people that are like-minded pushed back within the caucus meeting. And apparently there was so much shouting that Pelosi was frustrated and walked out. And including AOC, et cetera, said, no, this is crazy. I can't believe that you guys are gonna target her. And then my understanding is the Congressional Black Caucus then was like, oh right, Ilhan Omar is in the Congressional Black Caucus. And this seems like you're picking her out when, by the way, there's 6 different Republicans who have, at a minimum, who said way worse on the issue of anti-Semitism, and now we're voting against Omar when we didn't even condemn those guys.
Yeah. So I want to get to that in just a second, like right now actually. So Democrats were leading this effort to pass this resolution initially against Representative Omar, and then they decided, okay, we're getting a lot of pushback, so maybe we take her name out. We also include anti-Muslim bias because she's Muslim, and a lot of this criticism against the attacks on Omar claim, hey, this seems like an Islamophobic attack because she's Muslim. People are piling on her when it comes to this issue, and so they're like, okay, fine, we'll include the anti-Muslim bias part in the resolution as well, but if you go back and you see the way that Democrats handled Steve King and his statements about white nationalism, it'll infuriate you because House Democratic leaders blocked an effort to censure Representative Steve King for racial comments referring the measure to the House Ethics Committee for further review because they had concerns that it might set a dangerous precedent for policing members' speech. Well, they were concerned, hey, if we do this to Representative King, then maybe Republicans will do this to us, right? But you don't have to worry about that, Democrats, because you'll do it to yourselves.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal. And there were people who were upset about that who were Democrats, like Bobby Rush, and he's like, what? He said he doesn't understand what's wrong with white supremacy and white nationalism. What else do we need to censure someone? And Clyburn's like, yes, but many years from now, and it's not just Clyburn, it's the Democratic leadership overall. Many years from now, if the Republicans ever regain the House, they may also censure us. I mean, how? So what is there? Can Steve King say anything he wants? Can the Republicans do anything they want and get away with it? And the Democrats have to just keep punching themselves in the face? It's so irrational. It's mind-boggling.
So I want to go to Representative Clyburn. This is a video after Steve King made his comments, and it gives you a sense of where Clyburn was coming from when he wanted to block the censure of King. Take a look.
I would not advocate putting that kind of vote on the floor just yet.
Why is that?
Okay. Well, the problem I've got is he was not on the House floor when he made these comments. He was not acting on behalf of the House of Representatives. He was talking to reporters at the New York Times. And so I want us to be very careful about whether or not we're stepping across the line in trying to censor, or I would say constrain, speech.
So in essence, House Majority Whip Clyburn, who introduced the disapproval resolution, noted that King made his statements to the news media not during House proceedings.
Same exact thing for Ilhan Omar. So he's concerned about Republicans' freedom of speech, but not so much about Democrats. So look, in the old days, they'd have done this. Almost no one on TV would have covered it. They'd have steamrolled their opponents and moved on. These are not the old days. So now they moved it. Okay, Omar's name is definitely out. They added Islamophobia. Okay, I guess we should care about that. Okay, and we were trying to, help people out. But look, and here on the substance of it, do lobbyists matter on drug companies, oil companies, banks? Yes. NRA? Yes. On the issue of Israel, do the people lobbying for Israel, their PACs, including AIPAC, does that matter? Of course. Why would it magically not matter? Oh, pharma lobbyists matter, but AIPAC lobbyists don't matter? That doesn't make any sense. Of course they matter. So, and they're incredibly powerful. We had Ari Berman on the show a long time ago. He did a wonderful piece about how the NRA and AIPAC have very similar tactics. This was a long time ago. And he explained that they use very similar ways of corralling politicians to do what they want, because they're lobbyists. That's what they're a PAC. That's what they're supposed to do.
Oh, okay? So Ari Berman's anti-Semitic, is that what you're saying?
I'm sure, of course, right? So it goes on and on, right? Yeah. So in this case, if you're questioning that stuff, they would normally steamroll you, but now that you can't get steamrolled. And so now we got people fighting back. And so they took the name out, they added Islamophobia. Now they moved the vote to Thursday. They might move it again. It's not entirely clear because they got caught. They got caught trying to intimidate people. And which leads me to a very important question. Did they ask her to, in any way, I would imagine they're not stupid enough to ask her to, quote unquote, pledge allegiance to Israel in order to be on the Foreign Affairs Committee. But did they ask for a de facto pledge? Did they heavily imply that that they have concerns about her stance on Israel in order to get onto the Foreign Affairs Committee? If they did, then her complaint is literal. I don't want to do a dual pledge. I'm pledged to the United States of America. And that would be a much bigger problem, and that'd be on Democratic leadership and not on Ilhan Omar. So that's a good question, and people should ask that. Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.